Hello, and welcome to the UAS podcast. I'm your host, Anna Simet. We are here live at the UAS Summit and Expo in Grand Forks, North Dakota. My guest of the hour is Collin Kemmesat from Frontier Precision. Collin, hello, and welcome to the podcast.
Morning. Thanks for having me.
Good morning. Bright and early here on a brisk morning. Why don't we start by having you tell us a little bit more about Frontier Precision, employee owned, 37 plus years across the survey mapping, construction, and GIS industries, and now drones.
Yeah. So we've been in the survey world for, like you said, 37. I think it's actually 38 years.
Yep.
We've been partners with survey firms across the country, and that's kind of our bread and butter. A couple of years ago, well, now over a decade ago, we started the Unmanned team and kind of grew with the industry itself. So we've been in this industry for about 15 years now, and have expanded across the country.
And you personally, have you always been interested in this industry?
Yeah, so I grew up actually racing RC cars, playing with RC planes and stuff. Kind of moved away to a different passion, and then ultimately came back to the industry in more of a enterprise role. You know, growing up, nobody thought RC would really get you anywhere in life, and now we're in this new age of drone tech, and here we are.
Okay, awesome. So Colin, how do you see the commercial drone industry in the US adapting to the regulatory changes introduced by NDAA 25? And, what major opportunities or challenges do you anticipate over the next 2 to 3 years?
Yeah, so great question. Yeah, NDA is a big thing. You know, December 23rd of this year is kind of that hard number that's going to change the drone industry as a whole. It's going to force manufacturers in the U.S. and our allies to push the enterprise drone industry further than it's ever gone, which is a really good thing. I think we've kind of sat backseat to some of the adversary countries for quite some time. So it's really exciting to see that innovation happen and where it's going to go. Um, we're going to have some initial struggles, initial heartache there because again, the adversary drones for the consumer side are much better than what we have on the U.S. side. So there's going to be a little heartburn at first, but I think it'll help drive innovation, and ultimately, I think that's what the U.S. is made of: is grit and innovation.
Okay, thank you. Um, So, how has the growing emphasis on NDAA compliance affecting the market for blue UAS listed drones? And then, what advantages or challenges do manufacturers face in meeting those standards?
Yeah, great question. So, as a lot of people know, we see people asking for blue drones, but there's really kind of this divide between NDA and blue. That blue has become this buzzword that people kind of just say because it's a thing. It's out there. It's I want the most secure drone. I want to meet this compliance standard, but they don't really know what comes along with that. You know, for instance, like remote ID isn't able to be on drones. So really, while you're fulfilling one need, you're also causing another issue with the FAA where you're not legal anymore to fly without a waiver of some sort. So I think moving forward, drone manufacturers are going to see some struggle in getting those security ratings while still being able to have an agnostic system that's able to accept all these things that we're used to today. Um, I think again, it's going to get there. It's just going to be an initial heartache to get there.
Okay, right. So, you've been flying on North Dakota's Vantis network. What's that experience been like for Frontier Precision?
Yeah, it's been really good. I have a support guy. He's kind of like my counterpart that actually came from the Northern Plains test site. So been really blessed to have him alongside me and have some of the knowledge and know-how of what's going on there. Vantis is a fantastic thing. It's really putting us into the future with Part 108 and a lot of these different things today. Being able to fly beyond visual line of sight as far as the radar volumes will allow us to, as well as be able to deter from unmanned or manned traffic. We're releasing today some of the flights that we've done with Electrical Cooperative in Western North Dakota, and then North Dakota State University here a couple weeks ago, flying at kind of unheard of altitudes for the commercial space, as well as beyond visual line of sight. And the other interesting part too is Grand Forks. Not a lot of people know this, or some people know this, but Grand Forks is actually one of the top 20 busiest airports in the world. Um,
I'm from here and I did not know that.
yeah, with the Vantas system, we really with the NDSU test put it to its test, right? You have Northrop, you have all these big DoD contractors out here flying in the air, and then you have UND doing laps all over. So being able to deter from that, it really showed the power of Vantas and how effective the system is. So really cool to see. Being from North Dakota, it's really exciting to also have that system locally. Have a bit of North Dakota pride. I am very excited about it.
That is very exciting. So, what do you think the biggest barrier for what's the biggest hurdle for US drone makers when competing with Chinese manufacturers?
Yeah, great question. First and foremost, comes down to software. 95, maybe even 99% of the U.S. is using the same software in the background. So there's a lot of limitations there. Some of it's open sourced. The Chinese manufacturers, some of the big ones, three-letter ones, right? They have kind of this ultimate funding pool because they're supplemented by the Chinese government. So, I mean, while love or hate it, that's definitely the big barrier is the American manufacturers don't have 3,000 engineers on staff to develop things from the ground up. They don't have the money pool to be testing and all these different things. So we do have some really great U.S. manufacturers on the commercial side, but it's gonna just take a force of somebody starting from the ground up to really drive innovation to the next level of where the Chinese and adversary drones are at.
Super interesting. Colin, anything else that you want to add before we wrap things up?
I don't think so. Really excited to be here this year. Excited to see where this market goes in the next few years. I think we'll see a lot of groundbreaking innovation with people needing to force their hand with NDA and some of these adversary bans that are going to happen or on the horizon to ban. So yeah, just excited to see where the industry's going, and really appreciate you having me on.
Yeah, thank you so much for being here, being at the show.
Yeah.
And to our viewers, thank you so much for tuning in to the UAS podcast. We'll catch you next time.